Hey everyone, welcome to News Before It Happens. We call it that because we want to be ahead of the curve. We want to be ahead of what's going on, and especially when it comes to predators, traffickers, and protecting your children. So parents, you are the first line of defense, and we are so glad to be able to share some brand new information with you that's just breaking. So let me introduce, this is Mia Gifford. Mia has been with our team for many, many years, and she is our youth task force leader. She does research out there for the latest games, apps, trends, and the ways that children are gravitating and moving from app to app or game to game. Also, what predators and traffickers are doing. So there's a lot of protection that comes from our youth because they're telling us what's really going on. All right, and this is Lynne Barletta. Ryan is our IT specialist, very familiar with gaming and the ins and outs of gaming, also the secret rooms and things like that. So, breaking news. Are you ready for this one? Tell us what is happening on Instagram.
So on Instagram, they have implemented a new feature where users can now put custom photos into comment sections.
Okay, so you mean they can take any photo that they have and just upload it into comments on Instagram?
Any photo in their camera roll. And there is a faulty feature where Instagram may blur the photos if they detect nudity or explicit material, but a lot of users get past that.
So they get past that, and you actually showed me some of the so-called blurred photos. I'm telling you, it's not that blurred, all right? And you can see what's there. It's definitely pornography. And what's sad is, children are being exposed to this all the time.
And so, one thing that I also have seen with the blurred photos is that if you tap on the blurred photo, you can actually just see past the blur. You can just,
Oh my gosh. You guys know a lot more than I know, but I'm just appreciative of this information coming to the table for parents and grandparents. Where some of the examples, maybe you could just talk about some of the stuff that you saw that you were sending to me.
Like a lot of the things that I've seen have not been actual people. It's been a lot of drawings or AI generated photos.
So here's what's happening with AI. They are taking pictures off of Facebook, off of your children, your grandchildren, and they are superimposing them onto AI photos to create their own child porn, and they are marketing this worldwide. Is this a victimless crime?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, because that family and that child could be located even down the road and sextorted, and that's one of the fastest growing gateways to trafficking in the earth today. So tell me some other things about this. What are you thinking about where this is going and what's going to happen?
The one thing that I've noticed, so just to give a brief overview of when this started, this happened, they shadow dropped this feature without telling anybody at all 3 days ago. It wasn't in any patch notes, it wasn't in any updates or any videos were put out, they just dropped it. And Instagram Meta has a history of doing that. Whenever they do an update, they don't really tell any people, or they don't really tell anyone. They just kind of add it and hope people realize that it's there, and people usually realize it's there pretty quickly.
That's really scary.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I am personally under the impression that when a company releases something to their product, especially as big as this, they need to tell the public. They need to tell the people who are using the app that, hey, this is something that's going to be added to the app, and this is how you can turn it off from your posts. That is not one thing that we haven't gone into. You can actually turn this off in your settings to make it so that whenever you post something, you can turn off a feature that says, hey, I'm going to allow the people who are watching this to put whatever photos they want into
or comments. You could just turn off the comments.
Yeah,
Can you turn off the comments?
Yeah, you could just turn off the comments altogether, yes.
So when they're putting on parental controls, do predators and traffickers have workarounds? Can they get around it? Can hackers get into this and figure out a way to contact a child anyway?
So when it comes to this isn't necessarily something that's used to contact children. This is more something that it's being put in front of children, and it is potentially scarring them.
Yes. So it's exposing them to pornography.
To pornography,
we don't want
gore,
to do that.
Anti-Semitism. There is a lot. Violence, yes. It's showing a lot of things that kids should not be able to have access to, or should not even be able to see at the age that they're at. And I think the one thing if you turn off comments, that's the one thing that you can do that there is not a workaround. Because once the comments are turned off, there is no way for somebody to get around it and put the comments in.
Okay, parents, you better get on your Instagram, your kid's Instagram account, and even your own. Turn off the comments so people cannot start posting photographs. That actually happened to me on Facebook. Before I figured it out, somebody posted pornography on my Facebook comments. And I'm like, ah! And I got it off immediately. And thank goodness, it was like it popped up, I saw it, got it off. So it was almost immediate.
Here's the issue, though, and there's always a caveat, all right? So you can do that with your own posts, but what about other people's posts?
Oh, how do you stop that? So
You can't.
okay, so
That's where the issue lies.
let's talk about what are parental controls for real and what is it you can do to help keep your child safe. And the one thing that we found that is the most effective is the Bark phone or the Bark app. Because at least if you have that Bark app, you'll know who's commenting on things, you'll know where your child has been, you'll know the websites they've been to, and you also know who's contacting them. So, but you know, predators and traffickers, they're always looking for these ways to get to children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important, I think, at this point in time to have open conversations with your child, especially about pornography and seeing pornography and learning to actually turn away from it before it starts the dopamine release and starts to addict them, because there is an addiction process in all of this. And so that's so important. So Mia, how did you discover this?
I heard on a couple other people's reels, not even anyone official, just people talking about it, that it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know when until the other night I was scrolling and there's just... Do I just be explicit on here? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
They have pics like all through the comments.
Okay, don't say that.
Okay. Well,
We'll just say there's waves.
That's what it's called.
Waves of pornography.
So they have names for these things,
Okay.
but they're X-rated. Say that.
It's mostly males. It's like all males.
Yeah.
Really? At
Yeah.
this point? So
far I've seen.
here's
Because
some,
that's what's funniest to people.
well, and they're actually making a joke out of it, right? Like
Yep.
trying to normalize it by making it funny. Funny thing, because that's not really funny. But here's the thing. We just had a trafficking survivor on the show that we don't give out her name or her identity, but she said the one thing that her trafficker did was he kept minimizing it and acting like it was funny and acting like she should make light of it. And that was actually part of the grooming process.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so what kind of language do they use when they're describing these pictures? What would you say about that?
Very explicit language, and it kind of evolves over time to mean different things or be called different things.
So is it X-rated?
Yes, very.
Absolutely. Okay. So you do realize that there are code languages that predators and traffickers use now, like POS means parent over my shoulder, PIR means parent in the room, things like that. So there are many different codes that they use that children are picking up and using in their texting back and forth and on comments on all these social media pages. So understanding those and being educated in those is important. And parents, we have an entire handbook that we can make available to you. If you contact us through u-act.org, we can make that content available so that you know what the emojis stand for and you know what the code language stands for. All right, so any other apps or games that you're sensing red flags on right now?
I mean, one thing in particular is social media apps. As they evolve, they're moving towards, I guess, monetizing off of degeneracy. And one of which is, I recommend no kid should ever have this on their phone, is Twitter. Or now it's called X. They've rebranded. But no kid should ever have X. And right now, as it currently stands, with the addition of adding people's own photos to the comment section, I don't think that kids should have access to Instagram as it stands. Now, if there is one upside that we can maybe see to this, because we want to take advantage of the wins, we want to focus on the wins, is that Instagram seems to be rolling it back and forth according to people's complaints, because people have been complaining a lot.
So complain.
Keep complaining.
Start going after them and start saying things to them. Roblox has how many lawsuits against it now? At least 15 or 20 across the United States. So tell me, Mia, what happens if a child has an Instagram account, they've turned off their comments, but they go to somebody else's page? What are
You
they
still
gonna
see it. You can't really control what other people post. You can't go into someone's house and tell them how to rearrange their furniture, you know?
Okay, so right now we're putting a big X on Instagram for kids. Anybody under 16. I mean, really, any teen should not, nobody should see this. Even an adult should not see this. This is gross.
Yeah, while this change is active, do not let your kids have Instagram at the moment. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they may shut it down at some point, but we just want to pre-warn you that this is what is going on. And so this is one social media app that you need to be super, super vigilant about. And get that Bark app or that Bark phone. The Bark phone actually stops all internet access, gives no access to social media. And that's great for a young kid. What do they need to be doing on the internet anyway? That's like the wild frontier and sending your kid out there with wild animals and, telling them don't get eaten.
And there's not really any laws on it yet. It's still the Wild West.
That's right. It's the wild internet. So also we want to talk about one other thing, just so parents are aware. So we're going to talk about OnlyFans and how they are connecting with something called, what is it called? Bops or something?
Bop House.
Bop House. It's called Bop House. All right, so Bop House is for kids, right?
It's like people that join social media platforms, and then they get a huge following, and then they might have like contracts with the company.
Like with OnlyFans?
Yes.
Okay. So it's adults who have contracts with OnlyFans. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they try to make their content off of porn, and recently people have been seeing that they have been in contact with minors.
So these adults with OnlyFans are contacting minors and telling them what a wonderful place OnlyFans is, and encouraging them and inciting them to post or to join, or what are they?
To join. Okay. And back to Instagram. Instagram is actively pushing out ads that advertise OnlyFans. I've been getting them a lot ever since I've been showing you, and it sees that I'm sitting on the page, and if you look at it long enough, the algorithm will think that you like it.
And so it will keep sending you the same thing over and over again. Like if you saw a flash of an inappropriately dressed woman go by and you were staring at it for a few moments because you're in shock, it's going to send more because the algorithms pick that up.
Or even if in the comments you're like, ew, that's gross, that's a comment. It's going to feed it.
It's going to feed it.
And
wow.
Another thing that the algorithm does is that it can recognize if you are male or female, and it will push it to males more often just because of how males are.
So let's capitalize on that. Did you know that online approaches of boys under the age of 18 has gone up 98% in just 1 year? Do you know why?
Why is that?
I know why. Because the bots have actually done the scientific work of proving that boys respond faster than girls. So it's a numbers game. They can get more young kids that are boys to respond than they can girls. If they show a boy a nude picture of a girl, he'll respond faster than if you show a girl a nude picture of a boy. And so if they're asking for any gender proof, it's right there, because we have a 98% rise simply because the bots are containing this information, shooting it out to the predators and traffickers, and then they're going after more and more and more boys. And so they're also using these algorithms to multiply the companion bots, to multiply how they get children into chat rooms and how they're becoming this child's friend. And they're talking to a bot, but the bot is so well programmed that it begins to relate to the child emotionally. And this is a really scary thing because children start sharing their secrets, and then it's programmed to try to get them to send sexual pictures. If they send pictures of their bodies, then it'll immediately go into sextortion, and from there it's leading that child to take their own lives. And there's a number of cases in front of Congress that this is exactly what has happened. And so it's so prevalent out there. Again, parents, this is another reason to super monitor your child. And what do you think you should say to your child? If you're talking to a 13-year-old and trying to get this 13-year-old boy not to be so much on social media, and you're trying to get him to talk about what has he seen, has anybody been trying to contact you, who are your friends, what would you say?
It's difficult. I mean, frankly, if I were put in that position, if I had a son or if I had a daughter, I would just...
I have 4.
Exactly.
4 boys.
I would just delete the social media apps off their phone. And I know they can get around it, and that's the problem. But right now, and kids are always going to push towards it because their friends are on these social media apps.
That's what the issue is.
And it's difficult. You just have to sit down and talk with them and say, hey, you can't be on the social media app for these reasons at the moment. We'll discuss this as you get older. But while they're young, it just needs you need to treat them like they're a little adult. You got to treat them like they're smarter and they know
more than you think they know.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you just got to sit down and have that conversation with them at the end of the day. Don't just like rip it away from them and take it off their phone, because they're going to lash back. And they're going to figure a way around it.
And they'll go to their friends' houses and they'll get on it with their friend's phone, and their friends are going to share things with them. So the best approach is teach your child to be responsible with it and teach them the pitfalls. Tell them about wolves in sheep's clothing. Even if you think they're too young to know that, you don't want to wreck their innocence or ruin their fun, better that you should tell them than they should meet up with a wolf in sheep's clothing and they are unaware.
And one of the most important things about talking to your child, like, God forbid it's too late and they have been exposed, you cannot shame them, you cannot be aggressive. They will not want to tell you things anymore, and they will keep going to whatever they're going to because they're just pushing back on the criticism.
Right, and because all their friends are there, it makes it more difficult for the parent to be that one parent that's saying, hey, I don't want you to be on this app, or I don't want you to have this social media, but let's talk about why. And to really, be upfront with them and tell them the pitfalls and exactly like what a predator might say to a child. Like a predator might say to your son or your daughter, first they start out with just hi, and they're trying to get a response to hi. And if they respond to hi, it's, then they might say, I had a bad day at school. Trying to get that same response back from that child. And so then they set themselves up to be the same age as the child. And then they start trying to find out the child's name, where does the child live, and where does the child go to school. And the more information they find, if it's a bot, it's recording all that information. It's keeping all that information. And so they're able at some point to locate that child, technology being what it is today. But children are so innocent. They're not bad. They're just innocent. And so they will give information out because that's what they're taught to do with families and adults, right?
Yeah.
So just very, very important to have those open conversations with children. And so this Bob House and this OnlyFans. So here you've got maybe 12, 13-year-old girls in the Bob House, and then they're being approached by an older girl in...
That's not how that happens.
And okay, so explain to me how it happens.
They're not in there. They're being essentially pre-ordered by when you're of age. When you're of age, they've been saying that publicly, but who knows?
So how do they contact them?
Instagram, TikTok, because they have social media platforms.
They have messaging.
So I think if I can understand this properly. So there's posts on Instagram, and these creators are being sponsored by the Bob House. And no, okay.
It's just they're just a big creator group. Content houses.
Okay,
it's
so
like that.
It's a content house. Okay.
Kind of.
And they're specifically making they're advertising their stuff on Instagram.
Instagram, TikTok, all the places where all the young people are.
And they're messaging the young people and telling them, hey, when you get old enough, come over here and try this or that. Or do they send them pornography? How do they draw them in?
As far as I know, it's advertisement, because people that are associated with them will be like, it's so awesome, you should try it, and then more people will be like, oh, what's this about, and contact them about it.
Wow.
And they will reciprocate instead of being like, no, you're a minor, at the very least.
So here's something. Across the board, it used to be when you would survey second graders, third graders, what do you want to be when you grow up? Across the board, they would say a doctor, a fireman, They had these standard answers of things they dreamed about being. Do you know what the number one answer is today? An influencer. So if they're promising them they could be an influencer, they're promising them they could have a following or they could make a lot of money, then that child is very likely to respond to that because they're being given a promise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to be well aware of, parents. Again, monitoring your child's messages on TikTok, your child's messages on Instagram, your child's messages on Facebook. And the only way you're going to know that is if you have the Bark app. Or if you're constantly surveilling their phone and checking their messages. Do you really want to do that? Like in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening, you literally would have to do that to keep up with what Bark will do for you with the algorithms and send it back to you and let you know these messages have come in to your daughter or your son. So that's good. All right, anything else you can think of?
So Facebook, have you guys heard of Meta glasses?
No.
Oh yeah.
What are Meta glasses?
They're glasses, and they are, what's the word? I'm forgetting. They're glasses with the collaboration between Facebook, basically, and Ray-Ban. So people wear these glasses, and they have music features, and they also have the camera feature, which a lot of people have been using to make content.
I did hear about this.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody can walk into a crowd with these Ray-Ban glasses
Yes.
on and take pictures of your children and then use it to create child porn and market it worldwide.
And not only that, there is a feature, I don't know if it's out yet or they're still just talking about it, where you can identify the people and look on the pages.
It's got face recognition.
Yes.
Yes, that was the other part that I heard. So, parents, this is another reason not to put your children on social media, but also be vigilant when you're out in crowds. For people staring at your children or people holding a phone and pretending to check the phone, but they're actually taking pictures, just be vigilant. Yeah. Or somebody with a pair of glasses that just seems like they're leaning towards your child. You might want to be very vigilant about that. Yes. And yes, it seems like on all sides our children are being attacked. But here's the good news. We do have solutions. And that Bark phone is one of the solutions. Your vigilance is one of the solutions. Just really having those open conversations with your children, another solution. And so you can also, I believe that new technology is coming out to give parents the ability to search the internet to see if their child's picture is out there anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's tremendous to be able to do that. And for us to be, constantly keeping watch, we actually had a parent that came to us recently. Both her children's faces had been put into Canva, and both her children's faces had been taken by a company that said that's where they got them, put onto an Amazon seller website, and these children had instruments in their mouths that looked like phallic symbols. It was horrifying. It was when it was about 3 years old and maybe 5 years old. And so this is something that the only reason she found out is somebody recognized her children and contacted her and told her. And so we took immediate action, and our Blue Task Force leader wrote the company and said, you better take that picture down and you better do it right this minute or we're coming after you. And that's when they said, oh, we found it on Canva. But they did take it down. So they immediately took it down. So it's not a bad idea to do some research. And that would be some research we could do for the parents and come back to you with some ideas of how you can scan the internet looking for pictures of your child out there that shouldn't be out there. All right, is there anything else you can think of?
Not right now.
Okay. All right, we want to thank you. We invite you to join our parent webinars. This is an informal conversation where we're getting news out as quickly as we can, ahead of the curve. But the parent webinars are very detailed with specific apps. And we have the whole thing up there with pictures of the apps, and it's really, really equipping. They're only 15 minutes long. They're completely free. They're once a month, the last Wednesday of every month at noon. And we would love to see you there, and we'll put the link in the comment section. See you soon. You act. Stand guard, take action.